Hey, good morning, guys. I'm Stacey Rogers, and some of you have watched some of my other content on Mary Kay and all those kind of things. And today I want to talk about something a little bit different, and that is about mental health and addiction. Most of you have heard Matthew Perry has passed away, beloved Friends character. But if you haven't read, or I recommend listening to his book. That is something that you should probably do today. If you really loved the Friends characters, the Friends storyline, and understanding what was happening to Matthew Perry during that time and really throughout his entire life, it's a very strong thing to go listen to, and to hear him say it in his own words, in his own voice, is even more so. I listened to it the past couple days. It's a very tough listen for a lot of reasons. A lot of times it's very raw, but you can tell it is extremely real, and he doesn't mess around. One of the things that got me thinking about this, those of you that know me personally know that I sing, that you know that if you've known me long enough, you know that was something a lot of people were very surprised that I didn't go and do professionally. I didn't seek fame. I didn't work towards that goal, although a lot of people felt like I could have, and I probably could have. However, often something would hold me back. I would have a choice in front of me, and I would say, this is probably not the right choice because XYZ. And whether that was true or not, it is what in my mind kept me from doing whatever it was. And one of those was my firstborn child. I wanted to be present in that child's life, and I really felt like at that time when that opportunity was presented to me, it would have taken me far away from my child and not been able to be present. And so I chose my child over the possibility of greater income, fame, and fortune. I do not regret that. And that's one of the points that I want to make, is that Matthew Perry says in his book, fame does not fix anything. And over the years, as I've been rearing my children and as I've grown and done the things that I've been doing, which, I'm fairly successful in my own right in what I do, I have had the reoccurring thought over and over of thank God he didn't let me. Thank God those barriers were put in place. Thank God I did not become famous. Because as I look at things now, I realize I would have been a hot mess and a half. I probably would have been an addict. I probably would have made some very poor choices, knowing who I was back then versus who I am today. And I was incredibly impulsive back when I was younger, and really just made bad decisions. I would probably be an alcoholic. I had very little control. I don't know that I would be a drug addict, but probably. And so I'm very thankful. I'm thankful that I didn't have that. As I watched other stars when I was younger, in the earlier 80s and mid 80s, things seemed like magical. Hollywood was still this place that everybody really wanted to be a part of. And then you started to see things really fray at the edges of things, like when River Phoenix died. Then you have people like Chris Farley, and you have even as far back as Jim Belushi and some of the very major stars who struggled and battled drug addictions and died. Heath Ledger, Kurt Cobain. Just lots of struggling, famous, very famous people. And so I was very thankful. Multiple times I thought, I'm so glad I did not become famous. You watched Britney Spears, you watched some of the other musical people. I was just talking about actors, but musical people, and the struggles that they have in life, how they were abused, how they were taken advantage of, how they were used, how drugs were just pushed on them, how it was like, oh, you're having a problem today? Here's this. Oh, you need this? Here's a doctor that will supply you with this. It's a terrible situation in all respects. And Matthew Perry said in his book several times he would trade it all to not have the addiction. He would trade all the rich and fame and fortune and everything to not struggle as he struggled with his entire life. And growing up in a home with a mom who had severe pain, and at the time, in the late 70s, early 80s, when she was struggling the most, the answer was narcotics. They didn't really have a lot of pain management options, or nobody went and got massages, or had these different pain remedies aside from narcotics. And so she was plied with them. She was given the nasal sprays, all sorts of things to try to keep her out of pain. And what it did was made her physically addicted to those items, much like Matthew Perry. Now, Matthew Perry did a lot of things because he wanted that high. That was not my mom. She was physically addicted to those things, and ultimately at the end of her life was unable to get out of pain. And I look at the similarities between what Matthew Perry went through and what I witnessed with my mom. And I mean, Matthew Perry's drug use was off the charts in comparison to what my mom was even taking. But still, at one point during my mom's hospice stay, I asked, how much longer is she going to suffer like this? And they said, we don't know. We've never given anyone this much medication and have them still be conscious. And so my mom definitely had this tolerance that had been built up to major narcotics and pain medications over the years. And it's one of the reasons that I make very on-purpose choices to not medicate. I will struggle through pain. I will find other ways. I will get a massage every day if I have to keep myself out of that cycle, because I do believe that it's a very easy cycle to fall into. But having said that, if anyone is struggling with addiction, I think that Matthew Perry's book, while in some ways it could be very triggering, it would also be very helpful to listen to that and listen to you can hear the damage caused by the drugs and alcohol in Matthew Perry's voice as he reads this. And I'm sure it was very emotional for him as well. It's a very sad book in a lot of ways because you know what he has done. So hang on.